Hey everyone, John Bella here, and this here is an intro to state in React applications. State, state, state. It's a term that's repeated over and over again in tutorials, talks, and tweets. But if you're not familiar with programming or React in general, what the heck is state? On the most fundamental level, state is just a plain JavaScript object that allows you to keep track of your component's data. In the context of React, state is not accessible to any component other than the one that owns and sets it, meaning that it's private and fully controlled by the component that calls this.setState. Now, state can be passed around to components elsewhere through props, or if you're using Redux, through your Redux store, or if you refer back to the video on context, you'll see how state can be made available to your entire application. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take this application that's on your screen and we're going to do a little bit of exploration on state. So we have a button that just says toggle, and what we would like to do is toggle a theme for our application. We have a dark mode and a light mode. Currently the default is light mode. So as we go through this, I'll explain what exactly state's doing, how we're handling it, and how we're updating it. And we'll also go through a demonstration of how we can pass the current state of our app component to other components. So first thing we want to do is set up a default state. What we want to do is say this.state is light mode. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to create a function that allows us to toggle our state. So we can say toggle theme. Then we want to grab our theme out of state using object destructuring. Then we want to say our next theme is going to be the inverse of what our current one is. If our current one is light, we want the next one to be dark. Otherwise, we want the next one to be light. And then we want to call this.setState and set our next theme as our next state, our current state at that point. So the next thing we can do is in our render method, we can say const theme, grab our theme out of state with object destructuring again. And then what I've done is I've set up some classes. So on our container element here, we can toggle our theme by toggling a CSS class. So the CSS class is actually dark or light. So what we want to do is we want to use template literals, another ES6 feature along with object destructuring. And we want to say we want to output our state as the class name on this container. Then we want our button to be able to toggle that state. So what we want to do is we want to say on click this.toggle theme, and then we'll save that. So what should happen is when we click this button, we should get our dark theme. So I mentioned earlier that we want to be able to pass the application state. And actually, let's dive in just real quick and show exactly what's happening here. You can see the container dark, container light, container dark. All we're doing is toggling a CSS class with our state. So now we can pass that state to another component. So let's define a function component called header that accepts props and then returns props.theme mode. Now we can input our header. Then we want to pass theme as our props. Then we can say theme since we've already destructured that from our state. Save that. And what we should do is using H1 since that's the styles that I created for it. And I actually put this outside the box here, so that's not good. There we go, much better. So we're in light mode now, as you can see. If we toggle this, now we have dark mode. So exactly what we're doing here is we're just passing the theme state as props to our header component. Now, as you construct larger applications, you can use this ability to pass props to compose components in very powerful ways. It's very much how Redux works, how a lot of stateless design systems work. So typically you would have a function component that accepts some sort of props that it just renders inside it, but it handles all the styling around it. State is the lifeblood of applications in React. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop into the comments below. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button.